Welcome back to Mona's Take. I am your host, Monadrose, and we are here to talk about everything reality TV. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss anything I have coming up. Just a quick reminder to everyone, I know I've said this in the lives, but I don't think I've actually talked about it in any of the videos. I have a torn rotator cuff and I will be having surgery on the 27th of this month. I wanted to wait until Big Brother was over with. Didn't want to interrupt the momentum that we have going here. So on the 27th, I will be having surgery. I will be out for probably a couple of weeks. I'm going to try to pre-record and schedule some stuff. I've got some ideals working where I can have a couple of videos up while I'm off. But in the off chance that I don't, just know that I will be back to cover Survivor, Amazing Race, The Challenge MTV, Real Housewives of New Jersey, Celebrity Big Brother, and as always, I will cover Big Brother. So, that's the plans moving forward. I appreciate each and every one of you, the love and support that I've gotten. I am still in awe, but I do appreciate each and every one of you. All right, let's get into the live feeds. We're down to 5, so it's very sporadic if we get any information at all. Once the week's plan has been laid out. So I'm getting what I can, and I will probably be doing my videos like this late at night because I do need the full 24 hours to even get enough to do a video. People are acting on a whole nother level on that. Can't wait to see that karma train coming through. Choo-choo. Mood of the day. Really? You gotta give us more credit than that. Some people, buckle up, buttercup. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. So, the last 24 hours, Big Brother. We're going to start out with a conversation with Monty and Taylor. And they talk about next week. Monty tells her that next week she needs to win HOH. And she could take out Turner if that's what she wanted, because that would be a good resume builder. It would give her another comp win, and it would also have her taking out a big target. So I'm not sure at this point if Monty's actually wanting to go to the final 2 with Turner. I think he is, but I don't think he would be crushed if Turner gets taken out, as long as it's not at his hands. And again, I think he may be trying to hype her up to make her not look at the fact that they are working together, to keep her in line, so to speak. I think if it came push to shove next week, he'll save Turner. But we'll see. Taylor and Brittany talk, and Taylor is telling Brittany that Monty is still open to the 3 of them, depending on what happens next week. And Brittany said, yeah, because it may be good for his game, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's good for my game anymore. If he's not going to be working with me, I don't know that I'm going to stick my neck out to save him. Brittany tells Taylor she really appreciates her coming to her and telling her the truth and being an actual friend. They have the veto ceremony. Of course, Brittany uses the veto on herself, and Taylor goes up in her place. They talk about losing the yard early tomorrow morning, which is way earlier than what they normally lose the backyard. So they're assuming that it's a big elaborate competition for Thursday night, or they wouldn't be losing it this early. And I've racked my brains. The only ones that I know of that they haven't done that's big like that is the Bowl Arena, of course, you have the one where they're hanging and they have their feet on the disc and they're hanging, going around in circles, bumping into stuff. But other than that, that's the only two comps I could think of that would require that much more time to set up the yard. I guess if they do the chicken coop one where they have the eggs that they have to get through, I think that was a pretty elaborate setup. But I really can't think of any more iconic comps that they haven't done yet. Monty and Taylor talk. Monty says to Taylor, honestly, if the last week didn't happen, I would have expected that in return. He's telling Taylor that if everything didn't happen with Brittany last week, he would expect the three of them to still be a final three, which is bullshit. And we know it's bullshit because we know that he has a final two with Turner. But he is playing up this narrative and pushing it as hard as he can. He says, oh, and he made the final two right after Kyle left. So it's been a minute. Monty says, I would have expected us to be right on board, making sure we had the final three. But when I feel like I'm personally excluded from all these game talks, I can't sit here and ignore that and think that it's not a sign. I would be a fool. Taylor said, it's weird. I kept telling her, don't worry, go talk to him. You're close to Michael. You can see how the house is splitting. But he's still got you. But she was like, I don't know. And Monty said, I don't know why. I don't think I've done anything to make her feel that way. Taylor said, you're right. I don't know why she's so suspicious of you and Turner. Just the fact that you two are part of the leftovers before we were brought in. And Monty said, like the fact that he had something before with Kyle. How could I just be like, okay, I'm cool with that now. I'm joining the boat that you have. I'm like all in. Monty says, I'm not going to sit here and bash Turner, but at the same time, I can't be 100% loyal to that. You know what I mean. It's just like the raw reality. And I just wish she would have approached me and had a conversation and just believed in what I said with my actions. So there you have it right there. He wants Brittany out because he can't bamboozle Brittany. Because no matter how many times he told her that he doesn't have a final two with Turner, she knows damn well they do. He can't manipulate her thinking that, no, they don't have a final two. Why would they have a final two? That right there, if you want to get down to the brass nuts, that right there is it. He can't manipulate Brittany into not seeing what's right there in front of her face. Taylor said, and here we are. What happens now? It's just a matter of who gets power next week and what's best for their game. And you and I are both in a position where I know you don't trust it, but I know for a fact if she has power, you're going through to the final three. We're both sitting pretty right now. I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure that she's not going to send Monty packing before she will Turner. Because it's like the devil you know versus the devil you don't know. So I would see her after the tongue lashing that she received from Monty yesterday. I can see her sending him out the door and keeping Turner. It would be rare or a low percentage or whatever, but I think that's still in her mind of that would be her final screw you. Moni said, if me and Turner are on the block, that doesn't show loyalty. That shows common sense. So he's saying Turner is a much bigger threat than him. So just because Brittany may keep him doesn't mean she's loyal to him. It just means he's the smarter of the two choices. Turner and Brittany talk. And I'm looking for this to be a setup right off the bat because of what he said yesterday. Remember, he was going to have a talk with her and try to get her to incriminate herself. And Taylor didn't give her a heads up, which is surprising to me, but she didn't. Turner says to Brittany, I think this might be an uncomfortable conversation, but let's rewind to when we were talking in the bathroom. The next day, Michael tells me you were pitching to get me out. So then I'm like, okay, Brittany is pitching this to me and also to other people. Let me out everything we talked about. Out everything, just out of anger. I was annoyed and hurt. And I'm annoyed and bam. And I think you know now that I told people because it started by me feeling betrayed. Okay, my first thought when I heard this, I paused it. And my first thought was, okay, let me stop here for a moment. Michael did not tell Turner about Brittany wanting him out. That was Monty that told Turner about the hammock conversation, where it was Michael, Brittany, him, and Taylor. Monty's the one that told Turner about that. Michael's not there anymore, so he can blame Michael, and there's no way to fact check it. Michael's not there. He can't even keep a straight face. He's laughing the whole time. And then he says, I'm sorry about that. Well, I'm half sorry about that. I feel like I could have handled it better. But I was also like, what the F? He said, I felt like I was being played right now. So then I also know you were pitching to get me out this week, which is fine. I do understand that I'm a big competitor in the house. And I also don't take any of this personally. I consider us friends inside and outside the house. I want you to know I love and respect you just like I do everybody else in the house right now. Damn it, CBS. Just as it was getting good, they cut the feeds. And I'm like, what the hell? They cut to the bathroom where nobody was at. Why? I swear Button Boy needs to find a new job before next season. They go back to it, and just in time to hear Brittany say, what you told me doesn't line up with my understanding. Without Michael being here, and without me exposing his game as well as mine, I think this is a conversation that we need to have afterwards. I can say, with what you just shared with me, that I don't know that I really believe it. What did I say? She pegged him right off the bat. She knows Michael didn't tell him that. She knows damn well Michael didn't tell him that. And he says, I think I was a lot closer to Michael than some would think. That's for sure. I did talk a good amount of game, especially towards the end, which is why I think he was so mad at me when I put him on the block. He would have never expected it from me to play any part in getting him out of the house. We were that close to the end. Brittany said, even that said, I can't say anything. And granted, I'm not going to say there aren't going to be things I'm surprised about. Me and Michael were very close, and I'm sure there are things, especially if he was getting the feeling that he was on his way out. I think he did believe you more than he should have, obviously. Let me read that to you again. She said, I think he did believe you more than he should have, obviously. I mean, she dug that in deep. I was like, oh yeah, Brittany. Because they want to think that they can walk all over Brittany, and Brittany's telling all these lies, and Brittany's doing all this stuff. Brittany was doing all of that stuff for Michael. He couldn't play the social game. He couldn't get in on the conversations. And he knew that if anybody was coming after him, they damn sure weren't going to say it to him. But if Brittany started acting like she was pulling away from him and trying to make deals with other people, they would be more willing to talk to her. And she was right. Everything that him and Brittany talked about that night, she told Michael the very next morning in the storage room. There is a video up on YouTube. If you search for it, you can find it. That has that whole conversation. Turner says, I understand your campaign to put me on the block this week. I get it. You're trying to keep Taylor off the block. You and Taylor are friends. Brittany, she never denied any of the conversation that she had with him in the bathroom. But like I said, she told Michael everything. She lied to Monty about it. She lied to Taylor about it. But Michael knew everything last week. And Lord, then he starts trying to convince Brittany that he's at the bottom of the house. Oh, I'm on the bottom. I know I'm on the bottom. I'm going to be the target next week. I just know it. Brittany said, really? After the tongue lashing, the 3-hour tongue lashing that I just took last night, you think you're on the bottom? Come on, really? And I'm like, Lord, Brittany, please don't fall for it. He's trying to bait you. It's very obvious he's trying to bait you. Turner tells her that Michael did say that she wasn't who she said she was. She lied about her job and who she was as a person. Now, that's what Michael told Alyssa. We saw that on the show. But that's not what he told Turner. So Turner's telling her, Michael told me this. I didn't tell anybody. I don't know if he told anybody else. But he did tell me this. That's how close we were. She sees right through all of it. And that's why they want her out. Because she's not stupid. By no means. Turner said, I see that there's a world where I would save you. She said same, but she said she's not talking game. She's done talking game. She said, that's got me in trouble. I'm not doing it. I know where I'm going and what I'm doing to get me to the end, and I'm not talking game. And then she says, I can say that the conversation in the bathroom was to get information from Michael, and he was well aware of our conversation. He also didn't understand that he literally had to win every single competition or he was out. He didn't see that people were coming after him. He didn't get that part of it. She says, so what do you do when a person that you're working closely with doesn't get it? I had to make sure how to survive with Michael not here. So, they hug it out. It's all confidential. And then I'm thinking, okay, let's see how long it takes Turner to get this information to Monty. But then Turner says, oh, wait, we're the only ones voting this week. Let's sit down and talk about that. Turner says, so we're the only ones voting, so let's talk about the vote. Who are you voting out? And she says, Alyssa. And Turner said, I would appreciate it. Said, I am too, but I would appreciate it if you don't tell Alyssa. because this is going to be an emotional day as it is Thursday. She's my friend, and I just don't want to have to deal with it all week. So as I suspected, Turner made a beeline for Monty's room after this conversation. Tells him about the conversation. Tells him that Brittany didn't believe him, that Michael was the one that told Turner that stuff. And Monty says, well, it doesn't matter anyway. It's all about who wins next week. So it doesn't even really matter if she knows or doesn't know. I don't really care. It's all about who wins next week. That's it. And I'm thinking, I wish that Brittany knew that he ran right up those stairs and told Monty. Because if it were me, I would run right outside and I would have a good old heart-to-heart with Alyssa. And I would make sure that Taylor was present so that nothing could get twisted. And I would tell her, sorry, but I'm voting you out this week and so is your best friend. Yeah, he made a deal. As long as he didn't go up on the block, he's voting you out. I'd tell her everything. But Brittany hasn't thought of that yet anyway. Alright, let's talk about Final Four and their games going forward. The paths to get there for all four of them are different. For Monty, he wants Taylor and Turner. Because no matter what happens in that Final Three competition, either one of them win, he's going to be sitting in that second chair. If he can't win it for himself, he's going to be sitting there in that second chair. And in that scenario, I see Taylor getting third. It's a toss-up if Monty sits next to Turner in the final two. I think it's going to be a toss-up of who they like more. Because they both have the same comp wins. They both had a part in sending Michael out. But they have different personalities. So I think it all comes down to that. Taylor wants Monty and Brittany. Because if she has Monty and Brittany, no matter who wins, she goes into one of those final two chairs. I struggle. Sometimes I see her taking Brittany, and then other times I see her taking Monty. But I still think that in that situation, Monty would take third place. I think Taylor would win, and Brittany would take second place. And Turner wants Alyssa, although Alyssa's going to be gone this week. But if he had his druthers, it'd be Alyssa and Monty, for the same reason that no matter who won, he would be in that other seat. I see Taylor taking Monty to the final two. Think it's questionable the other way around, but I see Taylor taking Monty. Turner so far has been a man of his word. He has, and I say that with he has been loyal to whoever he was working with at the time. He's never been in several different alliances at the same time like some of them have. He's been loyal to his alliance. He did not want to break away from the leftovers until he was forced to. Even coming back into the house from Direfest, his initial thing was, okay, I'm going to put up Terrence and Alyssa, and we're going to stay leftover strong. Kyle's the one that pushed for him to put up Brittany and Taylor. I think if Turner had made that decision without any outside influence, he would have stayed with the leftovers. So I think he's sincere when he says that he'll take Monty to the end. Now, if it were between Monty and Alyssa, then I think he would probably take Alyssa. I don't know. And still then, I don't know. I'd have a hard time thinking that he would betray Monty. And for that situation, I think that he would take Monty, that Taylor would get third, and again, toss up for first place between those two. Brittany. Brittany wants Taylor, Brittany. She did want Monty. She wanted Taylor, Brittany, and Monty. But I think now she couldn't give two shits if Monty's in there or not. She just wants to make sure that her and Taylor are in the final three. I think that she would pick Taylor over anyone any day of the week. So whoever that third person is in that scenario, I think they would get third place. And it would be Taylor and Brittany in the final two chairs. Taylor winning, Brittany getting second place. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. What are your predictions for the rest of the season? I think it's going to be a whirlwind of emotions on Thursday if Alyssa doesn't find out sooner that she's going home. But I do believe that she's going home. There's nothing they could say to get Brittany to turn on Taylor. And even at a 1-1 vote, I don't think Monty can stand up and evict Taylor. If he does, oh, I feel sorry for him. But I don't see that. I don't see a world where that actually happens. So I think our final four will be Monty, Taylor, Brittany, and Turner. And I hope that they get them something to do because it is so boring right now in that house. And there's only so much BS that they can talk about. It's ridiculous. Anyway. That's what I have for you guys tonight. Don't forget to comment and share. And until tomorrow, you guys have a great night, great day, and as always, much love.